Hello, my mathematicians. We're going to do a little mini lesson on adding integers. And remember, integers are whole numbers and their opposites. And opposites, here's another term, opposites are numbers that are on opposite sides of 0 on the number line. So an opposite of 4 would be -4. So integers are all those positive and negative whole numbers, okay? So we're going to start out with something super simple. We're going to start out with 2 plus 3. Yes, I know you know how to do that, but we're going to start simple and build on that. So we're going to look at a number line. So I'm going to draw myself a number line. It doesn't have to be super fancy. I'm going to put 0 in the middle, and I'm going to put some numbers out here. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I'm going to have negative over here. Okay, now the rule on a number line when drawing on a number line is you always start at 0 and you go to the right unless you see a negative or a subtraction sign, and that sign will turn you around. So we're going to start out with 2. So it's a positive 2, so we're going to go to positive 2. And then we're going to take a step up right where we left off, and we're going to go 3 more. There's a positive, there's not a negative sign, so we're going to keep going in the positive direction 3 places, and that gets us to 5. And I know you knew that 2 plus 3 is 5. All right, so now let's change it up. Now we're going to talk integers. So or negative integers. So let's do -1 plus -3. Well, we're going to draw that same number line, 0 in the middle, do some positives over here, do some negatives over here. We always start at 0. We go to the right unless we see a negative sign. Oh, there's one right there, and that really means opposite, the opposite of 1. So the opposite of 1 takes us right here. Then we're going to take a step up for our second addend. Remember, numbers that are added together are called addends. And we're going to go 3, but we're going in the negative direction or the opposite direction. So we are going to go to the left 3. 1, 2, 3. And that gets us to -4. So the value of that expression is -4. All right, so those two had the same sign. Well, let's move on to some that don't have the same sign. So how about we try -2 plus 3? Notice we've got a negative and a positive. So we're going to draw that same number line. 0 in the middle. Put some on this side. Put some on this side. Okay, we always start at 0. Our first addend is -2, so because of that negative sign, we are going to go to the left. So I'm going to go to the left, -2. I can add that in if I'd like. Then I'm going to take a step up, and I'm going to do my second addend, and this one doesn't have a negative sign, so we're going to go to the right, and we're going to go 3 places to the right. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. And that ends up at 1. So the value of that expression is 1. Now notice right here, these overlap. This overlap is our 0 pair. And remember, 0 pairs, when they're added together, they equal 0. So I am canceling this value out right here, and the only value that I'm left with is this value right here. And the way I figured it out was I subtracted. 3 minus 2 is 1, and that's where I ended up at. All right, let's try one more example, and then we'll do some summarization. So let's try one where we start out at the positive, and then our second addend is a negative. So we're going to draw our number line. There's 4. -4. We start at 0. This doesn't have a negative sign in front of it, so we always go right unless we see a negative sign. So here we are, 4 units that way. Now we have 3 units, but we have a negative sign, so that tells us we are going to go to the left. So 1, 2, 3. All right, we end up at 1, so the value of this is 1. Remember, right here is our zero pair. They cancel each other out. And what are we left with? We're left with this little piece right here, which has a value of 1. So let's talk about some rules. So if we have the same sign, like those first two problems we did up here, if you notice on our number lines, we kept going in the direction we were going. We added on to what we started with. So we kind of combined the two of them. So when we have the same sign, we combine them. And the operation that is adding. And then we kept going in the same direction, so our answer has the same sign as the addends in the problem. So we're going to take the sign of the addends. So if they're both positive, our answer is going to be positive. If they're both negative, our answer is going to be negative, because we kept going in the same direction. All right, when the signs were different, when one was positive and one was negative, we canceled. We have this cancel right here. And the operation associated with canceling is subtraction. And then we take the sign of the larger magnitude, and that big word only means the longest line. Which is longest, the negative or the positive? So you're going to ask yourselves, are there more negatives or more positives? So if I look at this one, I have 2 negatives and I have 3 positives. So my answer is going to be positive. 3 minus 2 is 1. Here I have 4 positives and 3 negatives, so once again I have more positives. 4 minus 3 is 1. So to find the sign, you're going to ask yourself, are there more negatives or more positives? Okay, I hope this helps, and good luck on your the rest of your activities.